Good evening, Geeta. Good
Good
evening
evening.
to everyone from Teacher Magi. And today we have, uh, I, of course, I'm going to be introducing her formally, but each one of us knows her. And at least those of us who are passionate about storytelling and using storytelling would know Geeta Ramanujam, right? So we have with us Geeta Ramanujam. Thank you, Geeta ma'am, for accepting Teacher Majai's invitation and taking time out from your busy
Thank you so
schedule.
much.
And uh, Geeta Ramanujam,
Great,
besides
Sudha.
being an international, thank you so much, Geeta. Thank you so much. Besides being an internationally renowned storyteller, is an educator, academician, and administrator. She is an Ashoka Fellow, an internationally acclaimed fellowship given for outstanding work in the social service field. She is the executive director of Kathalaya Trust, established in 1998, which is the culmination of her vision and wisdom. She uses storytelling as an effective educational and cultural tool in many leading organizations in India and abroad. Her experience in this area spans over a quarter of a century. In 2006, she set up the Academy of Storytelling, the only global academy in the world that regularly runs certificate courses for professionals in any field, parents, and school teachers. About 69,540 people have undergone these training programs, and I'm one of them. Geeta has had performances of storytelling at the Scottish Storytelling Centre UK, International Festival at Brazil, Storywood Festival at Sweden, World Tales Festival Poland, the International Storytelling Center USA, and many other festivals. Geeta has a lot of firsts to her credit, besides organizing the first international storytelling festival in India and Sweden. She has given talks at the Toastmasters Club and been the speaker of the month, various forums and conferences around the world. And I think most of you know that our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, mentioned about her Storytelling Academy and applauded her for the efforts that she is making and the change that she is creating through storytelling. So, welcome to you, Geeta, and thanks once again for accepting our invite. And
It's a pleasure, Sudha, especially because very often you don't have uh, people who understand what is education and storytelling. And I'm so glad, I was thrilled that we have this forum today. I think many people were also asking about this because it's not very often that you have a person, because mostly it's also a journalist or someone who just says, "Oh, Geeta ma'am, can you do something for us?" But with an in-depth knowledge, Sudha, I'm so happy and I'm so honored to be on this forum. I was actually looking forward to it. So thank you so much, Sudha. Thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, Geeta. Thank you so much. And without waiting any longer, so how this session goes, it's for the benefit of audience who have joined us. And, it's a 1 hour session. And initially, I would be conversing with Geeta and she would be sharing her thoughts with us. And then we would have uh, questions towards the end of the session. So that is the plan. And so to start, uh, Geeta, I would like to know from you. I mean, you've been in the thick of storytelling and you've been working with so many teachers and schools. Uh, NEP, the National Education Policy, talks about storytelling as a pedagogical tool. So, how can we use stories to teach concepts in the classroom? Could you throw some light on that, please?
Sure. That's up to my hilt because that's what I started in 1998 after being in education for 17 years. So nearly 18 years,
Yeah.
and most of the time when I used storytelling, I wouldn't say that I was very aware that I'm using stories, but it just came off, so whenever I told a story and the children would sit up and listen, children were very interested, but my interest right from day one was how do we make adults, especially teachers. Mainly, I was also having three basic issues as one of the way that concepts could be introduced into lessons, because it's not very easy to begin or to break something. I was like almost a
Mm,
pioneer, I would say, to break this
yeah.
wall which teachers had. So
Mm,
I what triggered that thought for me was, what is the quality of learning, what is the quantity of learning, what is the direction of learning. These three questions were predominant in my mind, and I
mm,
thought
mm,
uh, most of the time principals and heads of institutions, I'm not blaming them, say, looked at storytelling very frivolously. They thought storytelling is only for entertainment and storytelling is
mm,
only fun, which is good. But I
mm,
also was trying very hard to break through that wall, saying it is joyous and it's learning. And at that time,
mm.
that's what the government had come up with, making learning joyous. That was one of the statements
Yes, yes,
that the
correct,
national
correct.
NCRT came up with. But somehow, I'm not blaming Indians and not. Why should we be also very serious about anything that we do? I think it can be fun. It
Yeah,
can be wonderful. It can be
correct.
wonderful if the heads are not light, if they are
Mm, mm,
competitive, they are jealous, if they are
mm,
all the time so
mm,
serious, then I think
mm,
it becomes a little difficult for them to, because
mm,
everything comes from top. Okay, so I will come
mm.
back to what you were asking. So let me just give you
Yeah.
a very small example. I used to
Mm,
initially do a lot of personal stories because I
mm,
thought what gains the attention of children is that this teacher, this big figure in front of them, which they used to look as a 70 film, is not somewhere someone who's dropped from Mars or from
correct, correct.
Pluto, but she's just like us, because I had to tell them I went through
Yes.
the same process. Yeah, so I used to do a lot of
Mm,
personal stories, and I thought one of the stories which I think most people have heard is The Mountain and Bird, which is very close to my heart.
yeah,
It's a long
yeah,
story. So that is one
correct.
thing that arrested the attention of people. And from that story,
Mm,
one can get so many concepts, lots. I mean, there are several concepts, whether it's English or science or anything. But to come down to one particular thing, let me tell you a very short story of
mm.
once when I was sitting
Yeah,
on
I
the
would like you
campus.
to do that. Use use a
One,
little
yeah,
short story and
yeah. So,
demonstrate how it can be used to bring
sure,
out the
sure.
concept.
Yeah. So
Mm,
I think one story that I often tell is it can be also used for corporates now, and it can be used for teachers. Is the fish, frog, and the turtle. So once upon a
mm,
time, so I often tell this story very often, that there was a huge pond, and I call it the pond of life, the pond of learning. So in this huge big pond, there lived all the animals and birds in harmony. Everyone lived peacefully and harmoniously, whether it was the elephant or the tiger, or it was hello, the birds and yes, or ow, 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 ow. So, well, all these animals and
mm,
birds lived together, and there was a frog, and there was a turtle. And this turtle thought he was the wisest, and he said, I am the director of this place, of this. I dictate what I want. Even though he was old and wise, that's what they say, but he had a little bit of uh, possessiveness and jealousy, which is a quality which we haven't lost from time immemorial. And he just wanted to possess that whole lake. So there he came out and he used that wisdom in the wrong way. He did the divide and rule policy, and he even drove away all the big creatures, including the lion and the elephant. How, don't ask me. Because we can always use our wisdom in the wrong direction, which is what he did, and he drove them all away. So he was in charge of that lake. Now there was one more who said yes, 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 yes. An old fish who always said yes, yes, sir, you're right, sir, you're right, sir. We find this in many schools, isn't it? So there was the head, the turtle, who said, I command this place. And there was this, yes, 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 sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. So the two of them loved being in that lake, and they thought, this is life. Well, after many years, there was one little creature who had gone away from India, from this lake of life, because he got better prospectus and he went off to Japan. Now, after many, 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 many years, he decided, because there was the black rain, there was the atomic bomb, and he was a survivor because his skin was such a, and he was smart. So he went down, burrowed, and went right down and hid there. All that black rain covered him, but he was very smart. So what did he do? He began to think again. He said, I think it's time to return to India. So he started making a burrow. He burrowed a little hole and he knew how to, but it took months. And then one day, so he comes to this lake. Kama sumo, yoma mani, kak, konke, koka koge kopyong. Lappa witte, kako ge kopyong. Motta witte, kako ge kopyong, pyong, pyong. A very happy frog. He was so happy to see his lake of life, and he came there and he, wow, and he just got into that lake. Block! And and he went near the turtles. Or rather, we can call him the old turtle. So he went to the old turtle and said, Sir, turtle said, Yes. Can I just join you? Can I be part of this lake of life? Can I join you guys? I see that there are only two of you in this whole place. Don't you know the rules? I am the director. I own this place. It's all about me. And nobody, not even the elephant, the lion, the tiger, the deer, nobody comes here without my permission. And you little tiny ugly creature, out you go. I don't care where you come from. Uh-uh. Went to the fish. And of course the fish. Yes, 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 yes. Didn't you hear what my master said? Out, 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 out. I don't entertain anyone whom my master says no to. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. Tamasumo, Yoma, Vadi goes behind the rock. And one thing that this frog, one of his traits is he doesn't react. He just comes and sits there and wonders. And he's traveled a long distance. He sees this beautiful sky and the sunset, and he hasn't seen that for a long time in Japan. So he sees this beautiful colors, orange and red, and the woo, and he's about to sleep when he sees two pairs of legs, and he hears and two guys. And what are they? They're wearing a hat, they have a net, and they are talking to each other, and which the frog understands. This is lake, and let's capture the turtle and the fish. Frog is very compassionate. So, so Kamasumo was running, and he says, Sir, what? He says, Sir, you're in trouble, you're in trouble, you're in trouble. What trouble? You're going to be caught. I just heard. Oh, I have 1,000 ideas to escape. 1,000. Oh, smart guy. Ben goes to the fish. Did you hear? I have 100 ideas to escape. Oh, not bad. Goes back because he's not wanted there. And since he's very tired, he goes to sleep. The next morning, the first waking thought, what happened to my friends? So, because the turtle is lying upside down. The fish, and he doesn't know whether they are alive. And he goes close, he sees the turtle moving, and the fish anytime will die because he's almost on the land. Now, that's what now he does. He looks, he wants to save them. And he remembers what his mother told him. So he starts jumping. ಆಯಿರ ಪತ್ತರ ಮಲ್ಲಾಕ ನೂರು ಪತ್ತರ ಪಲ್ಲಾಕ ಏಕ ಪತ್ತರ ಮಾಕ ಪತ್ತರ 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 ಎಲ್ಲಾಕ, which means the person with 1,000 ideas is lying upside down. The person with 100 ideas is lying sideways. I need only one idea. How do I save my friends? So ayra patra palaka, noor patra palaka, eka patra. So he's jumping, he's desperate. So here is where I stop and I ask people, why is he outsourcing for help? So I think anyone can put it in the
You can
comments.
type in the comment box, teachers.
The right there's
You
about
can type,
teachers.
yeah.
Why is he outsourcing? Why is he asking for help? Any idea?
Anybody, please feel free to
Yeah,
share.
and you know what? As teachers, I think we shouldn't hesitate about what is right
Correct,
answer and wrong answer.
correct,
Please
correct, correct,
participate because that is most important.
correct.
Whatever you say, at least it's an attempt.
Mm. Yes,
No one? Yes?
no one.
Can everyone hear me?
In between, they said that the volume
Okay.
was low. From
Oh,
my side, it was. Oh. Uh,
oh, I see. Good evening, ma'am. Yeah.
hmm. But
Okay, great.
that was only one person. Others have nobody else later on said that.
Okay,
Because
so
yes, ma'am, you're
Jayalakshmi,
audible. Okay, fine. So
Jayalakshmi,
then we
Suchitra,
have answers. Can we have answers? Priyanka says we are audible.
Priyanka,
Good.
Suchitra.
Uh, mm. Just
Maybe he's
was
thinking
admiring you. I
third
just missed
party
what
help will
happened.
be more trusted than his thought. I think that's a
Okay.
nice one,
Okay.
Ranjini. Maybe he's
Yeah.
thinking a third party help will. No, but okay. Remember, I told you
And
he has
Suchitra
a very
says it is his
compassionate heart.
concern.
He's a very
Yeah.
compassionate
Suchitra says
person.
it is his concern. Yeah.
It's his concern. Yeah, it is his concern. But
Mhm.
why is he asking for help? Any idea? Why is he asking for help?
Easy way. He was looking for an
Okay,
easy
let me
way
tell
out.
you, in another 5 minutes, the fish is going to die and he wants to save them. So, what is preventing him? Why is he asking for help? Uh, Maybe he's looking for an easy way out.
Yeah,
Okay, he is a person who acts. Let me give you a warning. He acts, he wants to save his friends. That's very clear. And he's very concerned that this fish will die any moment. Come on.
they may not
What?
accept his help.
They may not accept his help. Why? Do you think of that at that time? Give a whack on the side of your head. Everyone say, let me think, okay? It's not, so he's not concerned. Okay, let me tell you, he doesn't have ego. He's not worried whether he wants to just save them. But what is preventing?
Because he himself lacked the ability.
Very good. So he lacks the ability. What ability? Priyanka, you're coming very close to it. What ability? Together, speeders were taking help. He was underestimating himself. No, there was no time for this. Sorry. Okay,
He
I
may
like
go
that.
wrong.
English and you knows his own limitation. So wants what?
Limitations.
What is that limitation? Very good. You're coming close. What was his limitation? You're all very close. What was that limitation? To trust himself. Uh, okay, I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. What was that limitation? Look at the frog. Look at the frog. All of you look at the frog. He's scared
He's
if
scared
he
if
get
he'll get
caught.
caught.
No, no, he's not scared. He's not scared. Lack of confidence. No, he's a very confident frog. He's a very confident frog. And he can't lift them alone. Vidya, you're coming close again. Why can't he lift them alone? Why can't he save them? Why is he asking for help?
Physical
Physical, very
limitation.
good, very good, very close. English and you, whoever it is. Okay. So physical limitation. What is that physical limitation? You're very close now. Come on, think, think, think. What is the physical limitation of the frog? Physical ability, size. No, it's not the size, but the ability. You're very close. What is that ability? Look at that. Look at the situation. Not he's not slimy. No, Sangeeta. He's not slimy. But it's good you attempted. If he got to help, he may die. No, he's not. He just goes out to help. Pushing them to water. No, Aditya. So size. I will come to Aditya. Physical ability is very close. What is that physical ability? No, it's not about the position to hear. Look at the frog. Look at the frog. Okay, I'll give you one more hint. Okay, they are caught in the net. They both of them are caught in the net. Can you come? Very good, Suchitra. Perfect. Let's give her a hand. Okay, very good. So his tongue is sticky. So he's not able to bite the net. Okay, and that is why he is outsourcing for help. Okay, so he starts jumping and he starts outsourcing for help. Who do you think would come down to help him? Who do you think would come to help him? Yeah, he has no teeth. Perfect, Vinita. He has no teeth. So, who do you think will come now and help? Because the fish is going to die any time now. Who do you think is going to come and help? Mouse, very good. But remember, this is a forest. So, Vidya, just like the mouse, another creature like the mouse or the rat. Think of another one just like that. just like the cat, the rat, one more creature like the rat, almost the same size with a bushy tail, who's right up on the tree and he's eating nuts, not bandicoot. This is a forest. You know, bandicoots usually they're all in places like in cities near garbage and all that. Not much in the forest. Up on the trees, eating nuts. Tell me, very good, Rima. That's the squirrel. So the squirrel says, and he listens to this. Ay rapatar malaka, ekapatar malaka. Oh my God, somebody is shouting for help. And he goes down. And he says, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And what does this frog says? He says, just bite this net. And the squirrel, he waits and he says, aha, should I use my front teeth? Should I use my wisdom teeth? Or should I use the canines? What should I use? Now the frog, for the first time, is getting angry and he said, there is no time to think. Just bite. Doesn't matter what teeth you use. And so the squirrel, cool man. No, don't get so panicky. Yeah, I'm ready. And so he bites that net. There's a hole, and out comes the frog. Out comes the turtle and the fish, and they go inside the water. The fish now happy and moving, but the fish has gone to the right, and the turtle is now very ashamed, and he goes to the left. Uh, the frog is so happy. Frog is so happy. So he just attack. And what does he do? He says, Kavanasumo Yoma Vadi. So he says, just hold my legs. And he pulls the fish. And he pulls the turtle. And you know what? The best part is as he's singing and the three of them are singing, what has happened to that turtle? It's completely gone. All his ego is gone. And you know, animals and birds are very sensitive. So when they hear and they hear and the deer which comes and the swan coming back to that lake, and slowly all the creatures come back to that lake. So you see, this one little act of the frog, who was very confident. Let me tell you that, okay? He never underestimated himself. He was very confident and he had such a compassionate heart. He not only developed himself, but he developed the others. And don't you think that's what a teacher should be? Right? That you don't just help one student or two students because of your potential, because of your wisdom, you're able to help all the people in the class. But the concept that you can teach are multiple, isn't it? What do you think you can teach from this? What do you think you can teach? One or two answers would be great.
Let us see what teachers,
All the little
how they can use this
animals
story.
around us. What can you use the story for? Which concept in your learning can you use? Yeah, sure. Okay. What can you teach? Very good.
You
One
can
is
write
okay.
your answers.
Let me say two parts of it. Okay. One is to be compassionate, not to be reactive, to respond to the situation and be helpful. That is one. Ability to survive. Very good. What can you teach in your science or your math or your English or whatever, environmental science? Animals in the jungle, very good. For very small kids, very good, Vidya. Ability to survive, values, very good. Brushing teeth, okay, but I got it. It's a good one.
Hmm.
Inclusive classroom, I love that, Aditya. Inclusive classroom, beautiful. So, physical disability need not be the reason for not including people in the classroom. Very good. I love that. Difference between frog and squirrel, the different abilities, very good. Abilities of each animal, very nice. Values, okay. Inclusive education, yes. Harmonious living, I think that's beautiful. Harmonious living, very nice. Because in a school, in a class, you have a lot of differences between children, isn't it? And there are some children who are quite a bully, maybe like a turtle, who says, I don't want, I have to be the supreme, right? They become bullies. Life skills, very good life skills. Sounds of animals, beautiful, very nice. Okay, so I can think of 100 different things. One is, it breaks a lot of norms when we say in fairy tales that the ugly frog became a prince. Okay, so we are not comparing anything because even a frog can be very helpful. Okay, friendly strategies, very good. I love that, Aditya. It's decision making, very good, very good, because he was wise and he never uh, batted an eyelid to go and help. Right. Very good. So, this is what I generally do. So, habitats is one thing that you can think of. The forest life, all about animals and birds, sounds, innumerable things. Migration of birds, you can say which bird came to that lake, what are the kinds of birds that came, yeah, big and small, what are the traits of a turtle, what is the difference between the
But I
turtle and
have
the
a question
tortoise.
at this point, uh,
Yes,
Geeta. Can you hear me? I
yes,
have a question.
yes,
Yeah. So,
yes,
since as you were, summing it up, you said we could do so many things with this story, right?
right,
So
yeah,
how do we as teachers, right? Uh, how does a teacher finalize and kind of come to that point where he or she decides what are the things they are going to use that story for? Don't you think that's very important? Otherwise, we are all over the place.
absolutely,
And then when that
absolutely.
concept, so could you please throw
Yeah,
some light on
I
that?
think first of all, a teacher, for me, that would be the most important thing. Any teacher, whether they are handling kindergarten or high school, as a teacher, you're a learner first. If we don't open ourselves to learning, you know, especially learning something different, something new, to make that classroom interest, isn't it? How do I make this concept engaging
Yes.
in the class? So, first of all, every teacher should be motivated and should be open to learning, not like I know
Hmm.
what I've learned. I've done my B.Ed, I've done my M.Ed, I know it all. And any new concept, we have this tendency to shut. We don't want to learn. We're like the horses with blinders on both sides, and we don't want to move out because we don't want to have the risk of learning something new. I think this is so important. The most important things, do I want to learn? Do I want to find a new strategy to implement? Then you can say, okay, maybe it's storytelling, maybe it's role play, maybe it's just a game, maybe it's an activity,
Hmm.
and I should be willing to
Correct.
invest myself. Yeah. So if I am not
Hmm.
open to learning and I have this ego that I know it all, which I'm not saying everyone has, but I'm saying we should be
Yeah.
always open to learning and listening. So I would say that is the first step. So I should be willing,
True.
I should be wanting, I should be wishing. I
Hmm.
would put all these three
Hmm.
W's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Willing, wanting,
Willing,
wishing,
wanting.
and wishing.
Hmm.
Okay, and willing,
Yeah.
wanting, and wishing to learn something, all the time, all the time. So it can be from a child, can be child centric,
Correct.
right? But
Mhm.
it's so when we shut the doors and say, why should I learn from this child? Are we open to the like? I saw beautiful answers. I didn't say, oh, that Usha, that's the wrong answer. Ranjini, that's the right answer. No
Mhm.
comparisons.
Mhm.
Because only when you don't have comparisons that people will start responding. The minute you become judgmental, then children shut. Correct? So, first of all, the teacher
Absolutely.
should be open.
Open.
So I
So,
think a lot of things is a shift in our mindset,
in our
always to be
minds.
learning and adapting and adopting both. Adapting
Correct.
to the new situation, adopting a
Yes.
new method of it. That is what I
So,
would define a facilitator, not even a teacher.
facilitate.
I would say
Absolutely.
facilitator of learning. Yeah, facilitator of learning.
For
So
learning.
at this
So, is
age,
it
I'm still
possible
learning.
for, absolutely agree. So, do you think it is possible for all teachers with NEP asking us to, use storytelling as a pedagogical tool? Do you think it will be possible for all teachers? And, as we were doing the session, there were a couple of comments where some teachers said, excellent. Um,
Lovely voice modulations. Yeah. Hello.
should we get lost? Yes, I know it's very important, but should we get lost in those things, or it is important for the teacher to tell a story and look at what concept comes out, what are the life skills that come out, etc., etc.
Correct. I think even as a group of teachers, they can sit and they can do this brainstorm, you know, and they can say, okay, you teach a little bit of math from this story, I'll teach a little bit of social science, you teach a little bit of EVS. Let's do a conversation between the frog and the turtle. Let's do indirect
Mm.
speech and direct speech in English. So
Ah,
each person can
mm.
actually sit and say, oh, for English I can do this. It's so
Correct.
wonderful because as a team you sit together and say, what can you teach? What can you teach? Yeah. Instead of saying,
Yeah.
oh, I again. Yeah. So it's
Ah,
not even an
correct.
individual journey. And
Correct, correct.
lots
So
can
that
be
kind of
done.
a
Lots can be done.
collaboration, that kind of a
Yeah.
collaboration and
Very,
intersubject,
absolutely.
approach,
Exchange.
uh,
Very true.
exchange,
And
and
that's what
yeah,
today everyone's talking about integrated learning, right?
yeah,
Integrated learning.
cross
Yeah.
curricular. We are talking of, so
Cross
these
curricular. Exactly.
terms and jargons are kind of becoming, everybody is talking about them, but do we really understand what these terms and jargons mean, and can we apply them in our classroom teaching through storytelling? I think that's
See,
what you have very
uh,
beautifully demonstrated, right? So how
right.
all the teachers can
Yeah.
sit together,
Yeah.
plan, and
Yeah.
think about what
Yeah.
each one of them can bring out.
So I have actually seen a lot of teachers
Yeah.
who are very innovative and who are
uh,
different. There's also one problem that we have that
mm,
uh, the syllabus or it becomes an ism then. This is the way to
mm,
tell a story. This is how you have to do it, and don't do anything more. Again, we are
mm,
shutting all creativity. Can we have this as a house with all the doors and windows open?
mm,
Can we have this storytelling where all doors and windows are open and you don't shut and say, this is the way? So, if the people from top, because everything flows from top, right? If the heads,
correct.
if the principals are able to not only look at it monetarily, that is another
Mm,
problem, isn't it?
correct.
Anything new, then a monetary problem, and anything free is fine.
Mm,
So
absolutely, absolutely.
I wish those who can spend, those who can
Mm,
invest, can we invest in something new and different? For the past 25 years, I've been trying, and oh, storytelling, we won't be finished. Oh, storytelling, it's something so frivolous. So why
mm,
are we judgmental again, comparing? And why can't we say it is as important as science or
correct.
maths, because everything can, it
And
can
I
help
think
with
even
reading.
corporates today, when they
Yeah,
say, when you have to sell something, just tell your story and you can sell the product.
exactly.
So for selling a product, now they are using
Yeah,
storytelling. And
yes,
corporates, I know, Geeta, you've done a lot of programs for corporates. So
yeah,
I think as a
yes,
teaching community, we have to
yeah,
understand and come together and invest in ourselves. It is our
right,
own professional
absolutely.
development,
And
right?
I want to tell all the teachers and all of you today, every one of you is capable. I'm saying every one of us is capable. What prevents us is fear. So don't have fear. Be fearless, especially when you're doing the right thing. Like, I want to teach differently, I want to make my class different. Don't worry. After even whoever is watching, they'll say, ah, I think this is quite interesting. Okay, so don't be afraid, is what I want to say. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid. Just lose that fear and just say, I know. Just like the frog, be like that frog. Don't have
Correct.
thing, I'm small, I'm slippery, I cannot, I'm quite ugly. No, I am capable. I
Correct.
always tell this on all my sessions. So pat yourself in the back and say, I am capable, I can. Okay,
So
so
you
no
see,
fear.
one of English in you is none other than Alpha, right? If you remember, Geeta,
Ah, yes,
she says, when I
absolutely,
did this
absolutely.
course with Geeta, we had 2 to 3 corporate people, one from US too. So, mm, and Ranjini wants you to, before you close, please share your journey
Okay.
when you started your storytelling journey. So, Ranjini, we will do
Oh,
that. And then Priyanka Shekhawat says, ma'am, I'm doing my project on storytelling practices in classrooms, how effective they are
okay.
for students. Oh, that's nice, Priyanka.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Lovely comments. I've seen interdisciplinary
Yeah,
learning,
yeah,
collaborative learning, critical thinking, integrating
yeah,
multidisciplinary approach. Absolutely wonderful.
yeah, exactly.
Thank you, ma'am, for this. Thank you, Ranjini. Yes. So, a lot of my personal journey is also on our website, www.kathalaya.org. If you go, you will find a little bit of all the background of my personal journey, because it's a long journey. Yeah,
Mhm.
but
Oh,
one thing I want to tell Ranjini is what I did not have. Let me say what I call as native theory is I was never scared of doing the right thing. Remember, integrity matters. When you want to do the right thing, it is risky. It is risky, but you'll have to invest yourself. So you can't have the cake and eat it too. But if you believe very strongly that this is what I want to do, and you are focused, you're passionate, then the world comes around to
mm,
bless you, to help you, and to lift you up in a beautiful way. Yeah, so I wanted to tell Ranjini this, that if you believe very strongly that what you're doing is right, don't be afraid. Yeah. So one thing that I
and
didn't have is fear. Yeah.
I think
That's
that
how
is
I
very,
started
very
my
important.
storytelling. Yeah, my
Yeah,
storytelling journey is how that's how it started. Yeah.
yeah. So
So
many of Geeta, your students,
I
go
had to
ahead.
give up
Yeah.
20 years of my career as a teacher, and I had to start this storytelling organization, and at the same time prove to the world that concepts can still be interesting in learning. So as Sudha has put here, I was willing, I was wanting, I was wishing this, and I
Mm,
plunged completely into this.
mm,
Yeah, and of
yeah.
course,
So
God
I
has
think
been
that
great to
conviction.
also bless
Yeah,
you with the right kind of,
absolutely. That
the
conviction, I
way
think,
will open, the
is
way
very,
will
very
open, the way will
important.
open. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I think as teachers, it's very important that we all have our conviction. As you rightly said, if we believe in something and if we really want to take things to the students, right? And we want to use a
Yeah.
particular strategy. Strategies are
I
only there to assist
yeah,
us, right? Mm,
exactly. I wanted to
mm,
also talk about one small thing. We are made up of five elements, isn't it?
yeah.
So just think of this. My water that I'm boiling, okay? The water is my learning. Okay. Now
Mm,
the fire is also one of the elements. When you light that water, the fire immediately opens up. Even among the elements,
mm,
there's a lot of difference. But the water takes a long time to fully boil. Okay, so patience is another thing
mm,
that you have
mm,
to have, like water. You cannot
mm,
expect that instant boiling to happen. You'll have
mm.
to wait till that water actually starts boiling and then the bubbles come. So I just wanted to say that, learning is like that. You have to invest. You have to patience is so important. You'll have to be patient in order to get your results.
So patience is the key
Yes,
to
patience is the key. That's true.
success. Uh, and Geeta, do you think this whole concept of storytelling, using it as a pedagogical tool, after so much of investment has been made, and the CBSE is really very interested, do you think we will be able to really take this forward in the right manner? I'm always worried about the process. It's not the what, it
Right
is
to
the
say that.
how.
Exactly, exactly. That's why I said learning means not just learning about stories, the techniques, the voice. That's what
Exactly.
I do in my course. So that's
Yeah.
why I started the
Correct.
course itself. Yeah, because I
Right.
thought
Right.
it has to go in the right way. It has to be taught in
Correct.
the right paddhati, that thing of,
Mm,
set a norm. These are the ways to learn something. That's why I have it.
mm,
I had started a 1 week course, but now made it as 3 days beginners course. And that my
mm, mm.
diploma takes about 6 months to 1 year.
Yeah.
I want to tell
Correct.
people, especially today,
Mm.
see, my salary was only 350 when I started as a teacher. Okay, today teacher salaries are good,
Yeah.
and we are all very well established in our roof
Mm,
and hunger, and our plate
mm.
is full. Huh?
Yeah.
So we have all the basics. We are quite most of the people, especially in schools now, in private schools, they're all quite
Yeah. Yeah.
well
They're
off.
all doing absolutely.
So don't become stingy, is another thing
Mm,
I want to say. When you want to invest, you have to patronize people who are bringing new things into the world. Don't expect everything free of charge. Yeah, we pay for a scoop of Baskin Robbins. We pay 250 rupees. Just one scoop of ice cream, which goes.
mm,
Do we ask for the learning outcome for that? No. You buy a shoe for your child. You buy. Why can't you invest also for quality service? Someone is providing a service to you, saying, "I'm going to teach you the art. I'm going to let you learn this so that you can enhance yourself." Actually, it has long term benefits. You invest a bit,
correct.
you get long term benefits, isn't it? The more you equip yourself as a teacher, you're going to have a way ahead of you. So I
Mm,
wanted to either it is the principals or the heads. I feel that I know the CBSE board is offering everything free now. But if
mm,
you want quality, that's why I said quality of learning, quantity of learning, and direction of learning. So if you want the right direction of learning, just like for everything else as a price, I think you should respect. The main thing that we
mm,
lack is respect. Respect
mm,
every profession, respect everything
mm.
that comes, and don't
Absolutely.
hesitate to invest. So
Mm,
teachers can invest, heads of
mm,
institutions can invest. Don't cringe to give
mm,
qualitative service, because
mm.
everything has a price, right? Everything has
Correct,
a
correct.
price.
And that concept, I think it's high time that we in India understand, and whether it is
Exactly.
storytelling, whether it is training. whether it is
Anything. Yeah.
anything. We need to
Correct.
respect,
Yes.
and any profession needs to be respected. And
Right.
teacher is an
Right.
ageless student. Very right, Usha. Very right.
That's
True.
true. Very true. Very true.
You are an optimist, Geeta, and I
Yes.
think you know. Do you think it's one last question before we take questions from the audience? Do you think it's a good idea to actually evolve a storytelling curriculum in the sense that for classrooms, do you think, class wise, at least in the primary sections, using stories or long back, Orient Black Swan, and then the publishing houses had brought out a book where they said
True.
grammar teaching through stories. So just now, a little while
Correct.
ago, you said you can use it for direct, indirect speech and all of that, right? So do you think it's a good idea to invest in developing a proper curriculum, and probably teachers could come together and do it themselves?
Absolutely,
Mm,
absolutely. And for which I always tell all schools, I'm ready to facilitate all your
mm,
teachers. Just give them a little training so that they
correct,
can form that curriculum and it can be customized. It need not be
correct,
the same for a CBSE or ICE. It can be according to the concepts that is available for each of these pedagogies, right?
correct, correct,
So
correct.
I'm ready to come the little knowledge that I know, I'm ready to impart. But I don't
Mm,
know people, as I told you, that seriousness, they're not
mm,
seeing it as a very serious kind of investment, and most of the
mm,
time it is grabbing, taking from somewhere. I don't know.
yeah,
It's so
mm,
sad that it's just cut and paste, copy. And so
mm,
I wish
yeah,
for that quality that you need in that
mm,
school, because
mm,
eventually you can always charge the children, you
mm.
can charge the parents,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because you're bringing something qualitatively, right?
Quality,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So at
Quality.
this
That is.
point, thank you, Geeta. But let us take a few questions. We have about
Yeah.
7 to 8 minutes.
Sure.
Some of you have been very actively chatting and putting your comments.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
feel free to put your questions,
Questions.
and Geeta will be happy to take them. We have about 8 minutes. Uh,
Yeah.
Way to go. Proud of you, Geeta. Sushila Ravindran.
Okay. Thank you so much. Proud of you, Geeta. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Great hearing you again, says Alka Rai. Then,
Ah, thanks, Alka.
yes, questions, please.
Yeah.
Sushila says, good message for teachers.
When are you going to train us, ma'am? Please join our course, or if you want a workshop, please write to me. I would be more than willing to teach, because
Hmm,
I do training at all levels. I will be going to Gadak to train 300 government school teachers from all over Gadak, which is in northern Karnataka. So, I do it in bilingual, I do it for government schools. So, anytime you want any kind of training, kathalaya@gmail.com. I can just put it in the chat, comment. You can write to me at kathalaya@gmail.com anytime
you
with any
can write to
questions.
us also. Yeah,
Yes,
Sudha at
yes,
teachermajai.com. We could get in touch
yes,
with
yes.
Geeta and
Yeah,
do it.
please do. Please do. Choosing stories,
Okay,
although I
Priyanka
teach
says,
English
ma'am,
more
I'm
than.
still confused about choosing stories for my children, although I teach
Okay.
English and I try to
And I
connect,
try
but
to
I'm not
connect, but
feeling
I'm
confident.
not feeling confident. So, so,
Yeah.
so when a child begins to walk, Priyanka, when a child begins to walk, they will fall 5 times. So don't hesitate to fall. Okay, you will, then slowly you will gain the confidence. And reading definitely helps. As you read more and more, you will know, oh yes, I can tell this story for this concept, I can tell this story for that concept. So reading always helps. I think one page a day, make it a point. Whatever. You read one page a day, and over 30 days, you would have read 30 pages. So you start reading. Reading is again very essential if you want to
Uh,
know more stories. Yeah.
your Gmail ID, kathalaya@gmail.com. Is that so?
Yes,
Is that?
kathalaya@gmail.com.
Hmm.
Let me just put that. So done the basic course, but I'm not very
Yeah, so I have
confident
put
about
both
my
the
basic
IDs
course.
here. Sudha
Aditya.
at and yeah, Aditya says
Okay.
this is very personal. I
Aditya
have done the
says, okay.
uh,
So I tell people this is just like driving or swimming or cycling. If you don't cycle every day, okay, you will lose that touch, correct? If you don't drive after, there's no point in learning driving, saying this is the right, this is for stop. You have to practice it every day. If you don't practice it, then you won't be confident. Don't underestimate yourselves. Remember, I told you I am capable. If you're willing, you're wanting and wishing, nothing can stop you. Can social science also be taught with story, especially history? Of course. You
of
remember
course.
I told about I remember this lake of life. You can say the lake of life evolved in the beginning of time. Okay, how old was the lake? And what happens when the frog goes away? What period is it? Because he gets caught in the atomic bomb. Yeah. So years later, when did the Second World War happen? It's all history, isn't it? You can teach history for sure, even through this story. Yeah. When was the Second World War fought? Who are the people? Why was it that in Japan the atomic bomb was first hurled? When did that happen? August 6, 1945. Yeah. So all of history can be taught just through a story. Oh, thank you, Bhakti. Thank you so much. It's very useful today. Thank you, Mohana. Beautiful.
Thank you, Mohana.
Yeah. Remember Geeta
Remember
telling
Geeta
about
telling
through
about
stories.
how she taught history through stories and
Through stories,
outdoor
correct.
activities. So
That's
it
right.
can certainly be
Because I was a social studies
connect.
teacher. Yeah. So I used to teach history through stories.
Actually, my
That's it.
daughter developed her love for history because her teacher
Ah,
taught it like a story. So she
story.
loved
Yeah.
history.
Nice to see you. Nice, I not a professional teacher, but I've attended your
Okay,
basic.
so
Oh, thank you, Reena. Thank you so much. That's very sweet.
I did with puppet show Mughal Empire.
Mughal Empire.
Yeah, that's interesting,
Wow.
Nina.
Fantastic. So that's another thing. I think we do a lot of it in the diploma course. So how do you use different things like puppets and pictures to tell stories? See, once
Yeah,
you get it,
correct,
it's
correct.
an
Uh,
ocean. It's an ocean.
It's an ocean.
Yeah. Round of applause to my everyone. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
So,
Thank you.
Geeta, as always, so lovely, and
Yeah.
everybody is
It
so
was
happy. And
great.
I think this 1 hour of, we all were transformed and transported to another world.
Right.
And I think Teacher Majai and Kathalaya should come together and do more
Ah,
sessions for teachers and
yeah, sure, sure.
the willing and the teachers
Yeah,
who want
exactly.
to be part of the journey of storytelling. And
Right.
right, so that's why I put both the email IDs out there, and they
Okay.
can write to you directly or to us,
Yeah,
whatever.
sure, sure.
Ultimately, they have to be learners.
Yeah,
Sudha, thank you for all this. Thank you, Alka.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alka.
Mm.
Yeah,
Thank you, Satya. Thank you.
lovely,
Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
fantastic.
everyone. Take care,
Thank
Geeta.
you,
Thanks for
thank
taking
you.
out time and being there
Great, Sudha. It was
on
such a
this
pleasure.
Friday evening. God
Yes.
bless everybody, and wishing you
Thank you.
all a happy Diwali well in advance.
Yeah,
A lot of
same to
other
you, Sudha.
festivals, people in the north have Karwa Chauth and everything. Same to you. Same to you. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.